This is DRF Race of the Day. Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF Race of the Day for Sunday, January the 17th, race number 7 at Santa Anita. Let's throw up the field for the Grade 3 Astra Stakes. We're going 1.5 miles on the turf for fillies and mares. And this is an interesting race, Mike, because Miss Pantour, the number 9, she won the Astra in 2020. She's only had one race since then. We know she loves the distance. I'm assuming the connections have pointed to this all along. She also hasn't raced since August.
Yeah, I mean, you not only have the layoff to worry about with her, but, you also just have the fact that that's really, when she won this race last year, it's really sort of the standout race on her card. I think she still has a lot to prove, Dan. Not that she couldn't beat this field. I thought this was a wide open race. I think trips are going to be very, very important here.
Remember to download those free formulator past performances for this year's edition of the Astra on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Access them, handicap along with us. We'll throw up that Timeform US pace projector. Usually very difficult to project a pace setter in a 1.5 mile race. I think Aunt Luby the 4 is going to the front.
Yeah, I agree with you. Based on her last 2 races, she will be on the lead in here.
Avenue de France, the number 1, I'm not sure if she's going to be coming from absolute last, as Timeform US predicts, but she's got a lot of upside potential. Let's watch her last race at the Great Race Place, going 1 1/8 miles. Drayden Van Dyke really patient, down on the inside in that purple cap, just waiting for something to materialize.
Yeah, it's true. And you know what? At the end of the day, it winds up really making all the difference, Dan. He just saved every inch of ground in here. He kept waiting through the stretch. And when he got to see me split horses, it actually wins pretty comfortably in here. I thought that she ran well. I also felt like the trip had a lot to do with it, Dan. And so I don't know if I just necessarily want to bet her back off that performance. Not that I didn't think she was a contender. I think she's a contender. I just want to see what price she is first.
Not worried about the distance for the 2 Miss Addie Prey. She won her maiden going 1.25 miles at Santa Anita 3 starts back. It's really about, does she fit from a class perspective? She's still eligible for a non-winners at 2 Life. But let's be honest, what chance did she really have last time out in the Grade 1 American Oaks, a race that was controlled on the front end by the quality Chad Brown trained duopoly? Miss Addie Prey just basically saved ground around there in a one-paced fashion.
Right. I mean, she wasn't going to win that race, but it's not like she did a ton of running either. I mean, I could go either way on this horse. It feels like she'll be a fair price if you like her. I do respect the fact that it feels like the 2 best races she's run so far have been the 2 times that they've really stretched her out to go 10 furlongs.
We're very familiar with the number 3 Alti for her exploits in New York and on the East Coast for trainer Chad Brown, where it was always, it seemed, close but no cigar. She sold for $200,000 at public auction in November. She made her first start in the Bobby Frankel for Mike McCarthy, and she just lost all position early in that race, and there was just not a lot of pace. She had too much work to do in the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you could always come up with some kind of an excuse for this horse because she always seems to find a way to lose. I'm not going to disagree with your take on the last race, but it's, getting pretty tiresome to keep trying to make excuses for her. She has a lot of talent. I do think that in a lot of ways, she's the most talented horse in this race. The question is, do you want to take her as perhaps the favorite here?
And now they're going to try an additional distance for her as well. And who knows if that's what the doctor ordered. I actually might think Alti might want a little bit shorter distance. Aunt Luby's the number 4. We saw her finish 3rd in the Avenue de France race. I think she's the controlling speed in here. It's really all about the will to win. She's on a long losing streak. She's 0 for 9 lifetime on turf.
Yeah, I mean, listen, getting to the front in a race like this could actually be a pretty big advantage. And we'll see if she can, really take advantage this time. It hasn't worked out for her in her last 2 starts. I'm going to go a little bit longer this time. Maybe she'll wire the field, Dan. Not my kind of horse. I didn't really want to bet her. But listen, she's pretty dangerous if she gets loose on the lead, I guess.
Although the 5 Hermaphrodite's only 1 for 14 lifetime and hasn't won in a long time, she faced some really good horses overseas. She's run okay in both starts in North America. And perhaps most importantly, she wants this distance. Oh, and it helps to have Joel Rosario aboard.
Right. One of the horses where you don't have to worry about the added distance of this race. It feels like she wants it. I gave her, sort of a pass for her debut or her stateside debut off that long layoff, Dan. There was a fast pace in that race. But she just sat back and, was just sort of gaining a little bit of ground through the stretch without appearing to be all in that race anyway. I thought she ran deceptively well last time in the race that Avenue de France won, because while the winner just saved all the ground and was able to split horses, this horse was never able to get over. Rosario got hung up on the outside the entire way, but she was actually staying pretty gamely to the end.
Significant class hike, significant stretch out in distance for the 6 Lucky Peridot, who just won this race, a condition claimer going a mile, and certainly got a wonderful pace set up. They were going good guns up front. She saved ground right in behind. She's angled out for a chance. Everything worked out for Lucky Peridot.
Right. She got a perfect trip to win in this race. I mean, going back to her prior form, it wasn't anything to write home about. They spent a lot of time sprinting with this horse. It feels like not only the rise in class, but the stretch out in distance is a big ask for her.
Carpe Vino, another horse stretching out in distance. This horse finished behind a runner that came back to win the Lady of Shamrock Stakes for 3-year-old fillies in her most recent start. It was a mile on turf. She was a little wide that day. I was disappointed with that effort.
I was disappointed with that effort, and actually was disappointed in a couple of her prior efforts as well. She has a couple of wins. I feel like there's still some upside here, Dan, but I can't, locate that one race of hers that she's run that I really like.
Quick got a nice ride last time out from post 10 by Rispoli, I thought, in the red carpet handicap. Let's watch that race right now at Del Mar, going a mile and 3/8, basically in the 2-path throughout, now easing to the outside for the stretch run. And she kind of just grinds along to finish third, but this was a good field. The runner-up came back to run second in that aforementioned American Oaks, and that horse earned a 92 buyer. This mare acts like she wants the distance and is in good form.
Yeah, it does feel like her better races are going longer, so maybe that will work to her advantage here. I didn't love that performance that we just watched, Dan. I mean, she ran fine in that race, but it didn't make me want to bet her back, especially as the morning line favorite.
And as we mentioned, Miss Pantour won this race last year, then went away for 8 months, then tried to go a mile and 3/8 off a long layoff. That didn't work out. Now she's going off a long layoff at a mile and a half. I'm just not sure. I know she obviously has the ability to win this race. I have a feeling she's going to take some money, though.
Yeah, we'll see how that all shakes out. I wouldn't take a short price on her either. I will say that when she won the race last year, I felt like she ran really, really well that day. I mean, she stayed very strongly to the end. So I think distance actually really does work for her. We'll see what kind of price she is.
Let's take a look at our top picks. I think we're both going to try to go for at least a little bit of a price in here. Miss Addie Prey is going to be a big price. I'm not too concerned about the distance. I think she's tactical enough to work out a trip. And I just think she was in too tough against a difficult pace situation in the American Oaks. But she's got to find a little bit more against this tough field.
Yeah, she does. I think so does my horse, Dan. We'll see. At least, I like that my horse probably wants the distance from Aphrodite. And again, I just feel like she ran better than it looks last time, where she just got caught wide the entire way. I think with a better trip, you might get a better performance out of her this time.
I'm going 2-3-8-6. Mike's going with Hermaphrodite, perhaps an each way chance, 5-9-3-8 in the grade 3 Astra. Best of luck.